So I spent a lot of my life as an entrepreneur. When I graduated from college, I went to work for a tech startup, and very quickly, about a year later, I started as an entrepreneur, which was very young. And I've learned really 3 things about entrepreneurship that I think are worth remembering. Resilience. Entrepreneurship can be incredibly difficult, and most of the hard problems don't immediately break, right? So if you think about it, you're attacking a problem, you're triangulating the problem, it's not immediately going to break. It doesn't mean you have it wrong. A good example of that is smartphones. People worked on smartphones for about 15 or 20 years before somebody came along with the iPhone. So you can see resilience, being able to stay at a problem for a long time is super, super important. That's number 1. Number 2, which a lot of people don't think about enough, is business model. There's a really good quote from Warren Buffett, which is, when a great management team meets a bad business, one of them preserves their reputation, and it's not the management team. And it's a really simple idea. Not all businesses are created equal. It's just the nature of how the world ends up working out. And so it's much easier to compete and win in a really good business than it is to do so in a really difficult business. Choose that really, really, really carefully. You want to become a student of business models. And the third one, which is really, really important, is to learn to think in time. Most people look at the world and they think about a problem and they say, look, the world is the way it is right now. But the world is constantly changing. There's all kinds of curves that are happening if you think about major trends. And you want to be able to think not just how the world is right now, but how it's going to be in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, and where you're going to be along that way. So if you can learn to think in time, that's very, very powerful, and it's very uncommon. So 3 examples, right? Resilience, incredibly important. Business model, the power of business model. And the last one is thinking in time. If you think of the innovations that India has brought to the world, I think of yoga and cuisine as examples, but perhaps the best one by far and the largest one has been the inventions and the creativity and the ingenuity of Indian engineers across the world, obviously from India, but also Indians who have gone to Silicon Valley. And so I think what we're seeing, and we have been seeing now for 10 or 15 or 20 years, is a vital ecosystem of people and ideas and technology and places like IIT here that are feeding that ecosystem. Ecosystems like Silicon Valley really work off of this renewal, right? These virtuous cycles where you get something that works, you get some money, you get some investors, you get new ideas, people see success, now you get more ideas, more money, more success, and it feeds on itself. And so I think it's very, very, very early, but it's very, very good. These things tend to take decades and decades to reach their full potential. If you look at Silicon Valley as an example, it really started in the 1930s or even earlier and takes 50 or 60 years to reach what we think of it being today. So great. I think you've got a lot that's already going, and it's only going to get better from here. So hope that